I kept checking the calendar on my phone like a kid counting down to Christmas. 2
I'm
weeks,
fine, just
I said,
thinking.
grinning at Clara.
Thank you for
In
asking.
14 days, you're officially stuck with me. She gave me a tight smile. Stuck. You know what I mean? I laughed. Mrs. Clara Carter. Sounds good, right? She didn't answer right away. I brushed it off. I had been floating all week. I built my tech company from nothing. Late nights, cheap coffee, coding until my eyes burned. I sold my first app for barely enough to survive, then reinvested everything. While I was doing that, I paid Clara's law school tuition. You didn't have to do that, she used to say. I wanted to, I would reply. We're a team. That word meant everything to me. Marcus came by my office that afternoon. He leaned against my desk and crossed his arms. You look too happy, he said. My wedding is in 2 weeks. I'm allowed. He studied me. Just don't ignore what's in front of you. What's that supposed to mean? She's different lately. She's stressed, I shot back. Big cases. Big pressure. Marcus sighed. I hope that's all it is. That night, both our families gathered for dinner at my parents' house. My mom, Ruth, hugged Clara like she was already her daughter. My dad, Daniel, shook my hand and whispered, You did good, son. Victor Lang sat at the table too. Clara said it was important for her boss to connect with family. He wore a sharp suit and an easy smile. So you're the man who supported our rising star, Victor said, raising his glass toward me. I just believed in her, I replied. Clara squeezed my hand under the table, but her grip felt stiff. Dinner moved along with small talk and laughter. My mother asked about honeymoon plans. Have you two decided on Italy or Greece? She asked. I opened my mouth, excited. We're leaning toward. Clara cleared her throat. Actually, before that, there's something I need to say. Her voice changed. It turned formal. I felt my chest tighten. What's wrong? She placed her napkin down carefully. I think we should delay the wedding, just for a year. Silence hit the table like a dropped plate. My mom blinked. Delay? It's just timing, Clara continued quickly. My firm offered me a senior associate position. It's huge. But marriage right now would slow me down. Slow you down? I repeated. My voice sounded far away even to me. It's not personal, she said. This is about my future. I forced a laugh. Our future, you mean? She didn't correct me. Victor leaned back in his chair. Opportunities like this don't come twice. My dad's jaw tightened. And weddings? Clara avoided his eyes. We can reschedule. I stared at her. We sent invitations. People booked flights. It's just a year, she insisted. If you love me, you'll understand. That line cut deeper than anything else. Marcus' warning echoed in my head. I swallowed. So this is final? I already told the venue we might postpone. You already told them? My voice cracked. Before telling me? She looked irritated. I knew you'd react emotionally. Emotionally. I felt heat crawl up my neck. Clara, I built my company from scratch. I worked nights so you could study. I thought we were building this together. We are, she said, but her tone sounded rehearsed. Just not right now. My mom spoke softly. Sweetheart, marriage doesn't stop ambition. Clara's eyes hardened. It does when the world expects you to play wife. Victor nodded slightly. Focus is everything. I looked at him. Is this what you advised? He lifted his hands. The decision is hers. I turned back to Clara. Look at me and tell me this isn't about him. Her eyes flashed. Don't embarrass yourself. Embarrass myself. I felt something inside me crack like thin glass under pressure. So I'm the obstacle? I asked quietly. You're comfortable, she said. I need to be exceptional. The words settled over me like cold water. I stood up slowly. If you needed more time, you could have talked to me. I am talking to you. In front of everyone? She didn't answer. My dad rose halfway from his chair. Son. I'm fine, I said quickly. I wasn't. But I refused to break at my own table. I forced a smile. If a year makes you happy, Clara, then take the year. Relief flickered across her face. That hurt more than the announcement. Dinner ended awkwardly. Chairs scraped. Dishes clinked too loudly. Marcus gave me a look that said, I told you. As guests began leaving, I stepped into the hallway to breathe. My chest felt tight. That's when I heard Clara's voice from the kitchen doorway. Soft. Oh. Don't worry, she whispered. I stayed still. I'll handle him. Victor answered quietly, make sure you do. My stomach dropped. In that moment, I realized the wedding wasn't the only thing being delayed. Something else had already ended. I stared at the photo on my phone until my eyes burned. Clara sat across from me on the couch, scrolling through emails like nothing was wrong. "You're quiet," she said without looking up. "I'm thinking. About? Us." She sighed. "Ethan, not again." I forced a small smile. "I just miss how we used to talk." "We talk." "No. We schedule updates." She locked her phone. "I'm building my career. You said you supported that." "I do. I just didn't know it meant losing you." "You're not losing me." It didn't feel true. After dinner, she stepped onto the balcony to take a call. I watched her through the glass door. Her voice was soft. "Careful." When she came back inside, I asked, "Who was that?" "Work." "At 10:30? "Yes. That's how real jobs work." I swallowed my pride. "Can I see your phone?" Her eyes sharpened. "Excuse me? I need reassurance." "So now you don't trust me?" "I'm trying to." She stood up. "This is exactly why I need space." "You're insecure." "Insecure?" My chest tightened. "I supported you through law school. I sold my shares early to pay your tuition. And I appreciated that." "Appreciated?" I repeated. Past tense. She grabbed her purse. "I'm not doing this tonight." The door shut harder than necessary. I sat there alone, replaying everything Marcus said. The next morning he showed up at my office unannounced. "You look terrible," he said. "Thanks." "What happened?" "She says I'm insecure." He leaned forward. "Are you?" "I don't know anymore." "Has she given you a reason not to be?" I hesitated. "That's what I thought," he muttered. "She's under pressure. And you're under humiliation." I rubbed my face. "You don't get it. I love her." "Love isn't blindness, Ethan." Later that afternoon my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. I wish I had. It was a photo. Claire. And Victor. Walking into the Grand Meridian Hotel. The timestamp was from the night before. My hands started shaking. I called her immediately. She answered on the third ring. "I'm in a meeting." "I know." "What does that mean?" "Were you at the Grand Meridian last night?" Silence. "Why are you asking that?" "Just answer me." "Yes," she said finally. "Victor booked a conference room." "At 11 at night?" "That's when it was available." I closed my eyes. "Are you sleeping with him?" Her voice turned icy. "You've officially lost your mind. Look me in the eye and tell me I'm wrong." "I'm at work, Ethan." "That's not an answer." She lowered her voice. "You're embarrassing yourself." I saw the photo. Another silence. "Who sent it?" she asked. "So it's real?" "It's not what you think." "That's what people say when it's exactly what I think." She exhaled sharply. "He's mentoring me." "In a hotel?" "You don't understand how this world works." "Then explain it to me." "I don't owe you that level of detail." That sentence hit harder than the photo. "You owe me honesty," I said quietly. "I owe myself success." "So I'm in the way?" "You're making this harder than it needs to be." I laughed bitterly. "Harder than postponing our wedding in front of my parents?" "That was necessary." "For who?" "For my future." "What about ours?" She didn't answer. I pressed on. "Did you ever plan to tell me about the hotel?" "There's nothing to tell." "Then swear there's nothing going on." "Ethan." "Swear it." She went silent again. That silence told me everything. "I can't do this right now," she finally said. "I have a meeting." "Clara." "What?" "If there's someone else, just tell me." "There isn't someone else," she said carefully. "There's opportunity. And he's part of it." She didn't deny it. After she hung up, I sat in my office staring at the wall. Marcus walked in without knocking. "You talked to her?" "Yes." "And?" She didn't deny it. He nodded slowly. "I'm sorry. I feel stupid." "You're not stupid. You're loyal." "I don't know which one hurts more." He sat across from me. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know." That was the worst part. That night, Clara came home late again. I stood in the hallway waiting. "We need to talk," I said. She dropped her keys on the table. "I'm exhausted." "Are you in love with him?" Her head snapped up. "Don't be dramatic. I'm asking you a simple question." "You're spiraling." "Answer me." She stepped closer, her voice low and sharp. "You're insecure because you're scared I'm outgrowing you." "That's not true." "Isn't it?" The doubt in my chest grew heavier. "I built something from nothing," I said. "Don't rewrite who I am." Then act like it. I am. I'm asking for honesty. She looked at me like I was a burden. I can't keep defending myself against your imagination, she said. If you can't trust me, maybe we need more than just a postponed wedding. The words hung between us. Are you threatening to leave? I asked. I'm asking for peace. At what cost? She walked past me toward the bedroom. I stood there alone again. My phone buzzed once more. Another message from the unknown number. One sentence. Check tomorrow night. Same place. My heart pounded. For the first time, I stopped telling myself I was overthinking. Something was breaking. And this time I couldn't pretend not to hear it. I didn't sleep the next night. The message kept replaying in my head. Check tomorrow night. Same place. At 9:30, Clara grabbed her coat. Late meeting again? I asked. Yes. With Victor? She paused for half a second. It's a team review. I see. You don't trust me at all anymore, do you? I'm trying to. She shook her head. You're exhausting, Ethan. And you're distant. I'm ambitious. And I'm in the way. She didn't answer. When she left, I counted to 30 before following her. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. I hated myself for doing this. I hated that I needed proof. She parked in front of the Grand Meridian. Same place. I watched her step out of the car. A few minutes later, Victor's car pulled in behind her. He walked up beside her like it was normal. Like they had done this 100 times. They didn't look around. They didn't need to. They went inside together. I sat frozen in my car. Don't jump to conclusions, I whispered to myself. 10 minutes passed. 20. I finally stepped out and walked toward the entrance. My legs felt weak. The lobby lights were too bright. I asked the receptionist, conference rooms? 3rd floor. I nodded and stepped into the elevator. When the doors opened, the hallway was quiet. Too quiet. I walked slowly, listening. Then I heard it. Laughter. Her laughter. It came from the far end of the hall. Room 312. The door wasn't fully closed. I moved closer. Victor's voice floated out first. You're wasted with him. Clara laughed softly. He's safe. Comfortable. And I'm not. You're powerful. Silence. Then she said it. He doesn't understand what I want. Victor replied. Then why are you still with him? Pause. Because leaving him now would look bad. My chest tightened. Victor's tone lowered. And after the promotion? Another pause. We'll see. That was enough. I pushed the door open. Both of them turned. Clara's face drained of color. Ethan? Victor didn't even look surprised. You shouldn't be here. I could say the same, I replied. Clara stepped forward. This isn't what it looks like. I laughed once. It sounded broken. Really? Because it looks exactly like what I thought. Victor adjusted his jacket. You're being emotional. I ignored him. Clara, tell me I misunderstood. She hesitated. That hesitation felt louder than any confession. We're discussing strategy, she said finally. At 10 at night? In a hotel room? It's private. Private from who? Your fiancé. Victor stepped between us slightly. You're holding her back. I looked at him slowly. Excuse me? She has potential, he continued calmly. She needs focus, not distractions. I'm a distraction? Clara's voice came out sharp. Stop making this about your ego. My ego. I repeated. You're meeting your boss in secret. You followed me. Because you lied. She crossed her arms. You don't trust me. Give me a reason to. Silence filled the room. I looked at her. Really looked at her. Are you sleeping with him? I asked quietly. Victor scoffed. That's inappropriate. I didn't ask you. Clara's jaw tightened. It's not your business. The words hit like a slap. Not my business? I whispered. You're supposed to marry me. I postponed that. For him? For me, she snapped. I want more than a small life. I felt something inside me collapse. A small life. I said. I built my company from nothing. I worked nights so you could study. I thought we were building something together. You were comfortable, she said. I want powerful. There it was. Not denial. Not apology. Truth. Victor watched quietly, almost amused. I looked at Clara one last time. So that's it. She didn't answer. I nodded slowly. Thank you. For what? She asked. For finally being honest. I turned toward the door. Ethan, she called after me. I stopped but didn't turn around. You're overreacting. I smiled without humor. No. I think I'm finally reacting correctly. Victor's voice followed me. You'll regret this. I faced him briefly. No. She will. I walked out of the room. Each step felt heavy but clear. In the elevator, my reflection looked different. Not broken. Not angry. Just awake. When I reached the parking lot, my phone buzzed. Claire. I answered. What? I said calmly. You embarrassed me. I almost laughed. That's what you're worried about? You stormed in like a jealous teenager. I asked for the truth. You didn't give me a chance to explain. You had weeks. She went quiet. Then she said softly, You're throwing us away. No, I replied. You did. I just stopped pretending. A long pause. You'll never find someone who loves you like I did, she said. I closed my eyes. Maybe. But I'd rather be alone than optional. I hung up. For the first time since she postponed the wedding, I didn't feel confused. I felt empty. But beneath that emptiness was something steady. Clarity. I got into my car and stared at the steering wheel. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just whispered to myself, It's over. And this time I meant it. I sat at my desk, staring at the old photo of Clara and me on our first anniversary. Her smile was wide, unguarded. My chest ached. The phone rang. Nathan Cole. Ethan, you free for coffee? He asked. Sure. I grabbed my jacket. We met at the little cafe across from my office. Nathan stirred his coffee slowly. You look beat, he said. Rough night? Another late night for her. And the hotel thing? I let it trail. He nodded knowingly. I heard. She lied. With Victor. Nathan frowned. That guy. What a snake. You know he's under investigation, right? What? My heart skipped. For what? Fraud. Bribery. Classic Victor Lang move. He lowered his voice. And Clara signed off on some documents. I slammed my hand on the table. She knew. Probably not. But she's tangled up now. I leaned back. I can't believe I supported her. I sold my shares, worked my ass off, and my voice cracked. I shook my head. I thought we were building a life together. Nathan sipped his coffee. You did. You're not wrong. But she's chasing something else. I ran a hand through my hair. I feel like I don't even know who she is. You still have a choice, Ethan, he said. You can save her, protect her career, or let her face reality. I swallowed hard. I don't know if I want to protect her. I'm so angry, Nathan. I trusted her. I get it. But revenge won't heal you. Justice might. I laughed bitterly. Justice? Yes. Expose Victor. Let karma do its job. Not for you, but for her. I looked at him. You think I should just let her get hurt? Sometimes letting someone face consequences is the best gift, Nathan said gently. You can't fix ambition gone wrong. I rubbed my eyes. She doesn't even see me as a partner anymore. Nathan leaned forward. Exactly. She sees you as a comfort zone. And comfort zones don't build empires. I clenched my fist under the table. I built an empire. For us. For her. For her? Nathan echoed. And she chose herself instead. I stood abruptly. I'm tired of feeling small. Good, he said. Then don't. I walked outside, the cool air hitting my face. For weeks, I'd replayed every conversation, every promise. Every, we're in this together line. I realized the common thread. Me. I'd been trying to save someone who didn't want saving. I called Marcus on the way back. I need advice. You're going to fix this, right? He asked immediately. I don't know anymore. Maybe I just walk away. You sure? After everything? Yes. I'm done chasing illusions. Marcus was silent for a moment. Then you're finally awake. I smiled grimly. Feels like I've been asleep for years. When I got back to the office, I cleared my desk. Not because I was quitting work, but because I was reclaiming control. I wasn't going to let her choices define me. Nathan stopped by later. You okay? I am, I said, surprising myself. Angry. Hurt. But okay. He nodded. Good. Now we build something real. Something lasting. I realized he was right. Clara wasn't part of the future I wanted anymore. Not in the way I imagined. I remembered the nights I stayed up coding, worrying about bills, and wondering if she would ever appreciate the sacrifices I made. I realized now I wasn't just angry at her, I was angry at myself. For expecting her to be someone she wasn't. I made a choice then. I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't plead. I would focus on me, on my company, on my growth. If karma had a lesson for her, it would come naturally. That night, I sat alone in my apartment. My reflection in the window looked tired, but there was determination in my eyes. I whispered to myself, I'm taking back my life. And for the first time in weeks I felt free. Months passed. Clara officially postponed the wedding indefinitely. I stopped asking questions. Stopped calling. Stopped hoping she would choose me. Still, the rumors were everywhere. Ethan Carter got left behind, some people said. Too small for her ambitions. My chest burned every time I heard it. I met Nathan in a quiet cafe to discuss our startup. He looked at me, eyebrows raised. You're still brooding over her? Not brooding, I said quickly. Planning. He smirked. Planning revenge? I shook my head. No. Growth. Self-focus. Something she can't understand right now. Good, Nathan said. Because she'll probably call. Probably, I agreed. That night my phone buzzed. Claire. I let it ring once. Twice. Then ignored it. Next day she called again. Her number showed up as Clara Hayes. I answered calmly. What? You're ignoring me. I'm focusing. I thought you'd at least hear me out. Hear you out about what? Her voice faltered. About us. About everything. I know everything I need to know. You don't understand. I understand enough to know I won't chase you anymore. Silence. I thought you loved me, she said finally. I did, I said quietly. I loved who you were, not who you became. Another silence. Weeks later, Nathan and I worked late nights in the office. Codes, pitches, investors. We built quietly, silently, without anyone noticing. You're changing, Nathan said one night. You're not the same guy who would have begged her to stay. Maybe that's good, I said. Maybe I needed to stop being the man I was. You've got Sophie Lynn coming in tomorrow, Nathan reminded me. Sophie, the investor. Smart, professional, respectful. Completely different from Clara. I waited in the conference room when she arrived. Ethan Carter? She asked, extending a hand. Yes, I said. And you are? Sophie Lynn. I've read about your projects. Then you'll know I don't need sugarcoating. She smiled. I don't do sugarcoating. The conversation turned to business immediately. She asked pointed questions, challenged my ideas, and listened when I responded. No games, no manipulation. Just respect. Halfway through, my phone buzzed again. Claire. I glanced at the screen. Ignored it. You okay? Sophie asked. Better than I have been, I said. Thanks. Later that night, my phone buzzed again. A text. You'll always love me. I laughed softly, more to myself than anyone else. I typed a reply, then deleted it. Finally, I typed, I loved who you were, not who you became. Hit send. The next day, news broke about Victor's firm. Fraud allegations. Bribery. Major scandal. Clara's name was mentioned because she signed off on certain documents. I didn't gloat. Didn't feel satisfaction. But I felt something shift. The balance had started tilting. I walked into the office and saw Nathan smirking. Feels good, doesn't it? Feels like closure is coming, I said. I knew you'd come out on top, Nathan said. I leaned back, thinking of the nights I cried alone. The nights I imagined a life with Clara, believing we were partners. I realized those nights weren't wasted. They led me here. To control. To clarity. To power over my own life. Marcus called later. You're doing it right, he said. She'll come to you eventually, but it won't matter. You won't care. Care? I don't even recognize the part of me that did. That part died so the real you could rise, Marcus said. I hung up, looking out the office window. Lights of the city sparkled below. I imagined my life months ago. Then I imagined it now, free from manipulation, free from doubt, free from her. Clara called again that night. I ignored it. Instead, I texted Sophie about the next meeting. Her reply was immediate. Can't wait. And for the first time I felt hope, not for her but for myself. I realized she called me because she expected me to beg, to fight for her. But I didn't. I wouldn't. I had built myself in silence, and that silence had become my strength. The next week, Victor's investigation made headlines. Clara's career wavered. I heard her name whispered in meetings she wasn't present for. I smiled faintly. Karma, natural and patient, was beginning. But I wasn't watching from bitterness. I was watching from clarity. I had stopped reacting emotionally. I had stopped chasing illusions. I had rebuilt myself. And when she reached out again, I knew what I would say. Not my problem. I leaned back in my chair and looked at the city. My future was waiting. And this time I would run it on my terms. The office was buzzing with excitement. Investors had finally taken notice of our app, and things were moving faster than I imagined. Yet my mind kept wandering back to Clara. Not because I wanted her back, far from it, but because the ripples of her choices were everywhere. Nathan leaned over my desk. You hearing about Victor yet? I'm avoiding it, I said. You should see the headlines, he said. The guy's empire is collapsing. Fraud charges, bribery, embezzlement, the works. I stared at my phone. The news portal had a picture of Victor, looking smug as always with the words corporate giant falls and fraud scandal. So, karma finally decided to show up, I muttered. Nathan smirked. It's poetic, really? I don't want poetic, I said, voice low. I want clarity. Then watch closely, Nathan said. Later that afternoon, Clara called. Again. I let it ring. Twice. 3 times. Then silence. I poured myself a coffee trying to focus when my assistant buzzed in. Ethan, Victor Lang just called the office. Wants to meet. I froze. Me? Yes. Says it's urgent. I exhaled. I'll take it. Let him stew. 30 minutes later, Victor stormed in, all confidence and arrogance. Carter, he said, voice sharp. I hear you've been talking. I've been watching, I said evenly. You think you've won? You think this scandal hurts me? It already has, I said. Your empire's crumbling. Your credibility? Gone. And you dragged her in. He sneered. She's a lawyer. She knows the risks. She didn't know the full extent, I replied. And now she's paying for your mistakes. Victor slammed his hand on my desk. You think you're better than me? No. I think I'm awake, I said calmly. And you're blind. You're lucky I don't. Lucky. I cut him off. The only thing lucky here is that I didn't get involved earlier. Because now you're exposed. And I can watch without touching you. His face twisted. You'll regret this. Already doing that, I said softly. But not for me. For her. He glared, then stormed out. I leaned back in my chair thinking about Clara. I remembered her laughter, the way she said she was building power. And now, she had nothing. She had only me, and I wasn't hers anymore. The phone buzzed. Clara again. I answered, voice cold. What now? Ethan, please. I didn't mean. You didn't mean? I echoed. You didn't mean to lie, to postpone, to get tangled with him? I didn't see it coming. You should have, I said. You were warned. You ignored it. Now you're paying the price. I'm scared, she admitted. You should be. Silence. I need you, she whispered finally. No, I said simply. You needed me once. Now you need yourself. She cried softly. I still love you. I know, I said. And I don't care anymore. That's the difference. I hung up. Hours later, I met Marcus at the rooftop bar. Did she call? He asked. Again. And I didn't pick up. That's good, he said. You're finally free of her gravity. Yeah, I said, staring at the city lights. Free, but watching the fallout is still surreal. You're not petty, he said. You're calculated. That's why you're winning. I smiled faintly. It feels strange. I spent so long being reactive. Angry. Needy. And now you're observing, he said. And building. I thought about my company, the late nights, the pitches, the code. Everything I sacrificed for us. I realized it wasn't wasted. She lost, Victor lost, but I gained clarity. You think she'll ever come back? Marcus asked. Doesn't matter, I said. I stopped hoping. I stopped chasing illusions. Later that night, the news broke again. Victor was resigning. Clara's role under investigation. Friends whispering behind her back. I leaned against the window, feeling something I hadn't in months. Calm. The storm had passed and I was standing intact. Nathan called. You watching the headlines? I am, I said. It's poetic, but also deserved. And you? He asked. I'm building, I said. In silence. Stronger than before. Ready for everything that comes next. Marcus sent a text. You survived the fire. Now you're untouchable. I stared at it and smiled. For the first time since Clara postponed the wedding, I didn't feel loss. I felt power. I felt control. And I knew, no one, not Victor, not Clara, not anyone, could take that from me. The office was quiet that morning. The phones rang, keyboards clicked, but I barely noticed. My mind kept replaying the news. Clara had lost her license temporarily. Her reputation was in tatters. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. Ethan. Her voice soft, shaky. Clara, I said evenly. It's been a while. I made a mistake. You're telling me that now? I didn't mean for things to go this far. I leaned back in my chair. Isn't it too late for that? She sighed. Oh, I'm sorry. For everything. Everything? I asked, voice low. For postponing the wedding in front of my parents? For lying? For him? I didn't know how to handle my career and us, she admitted. I thought I could have both. Clearly you couldn't, I said. I thought you'd forgive me, she whispered. I don't know if forgiveness is enough, I admitted. There was silence on the line. I've lost everything, she said finally. My license, my job, my friends. I even moved out of my apartment. I see, I said calmly. I need help, she said. I thought, maybe you could. No, I interrupted gently. You need to face this yourself. But, I said no, I repeated. My voice was firm but not cruel. You made your choices. Now you deal with the consequences. Her sobs were soft. Ethan, please. I shook my head even though she couldn't see me. I'm done saving you. I saved you once. You chose someone else. She was quiet. Then she whispered, I was wrong. I see it now. I took a deep breath. I don't hate you. But I don't feel the same way anymore. Another pause. Do you forgive me? I leaned back and looked at the ceiling. I forgive you. But it's not for you. It's for me. I don't want to carry anger anymore. I don't know what to say. Say nothing, I replied. Just live with your choices. She hung up. The line went dead. Marcus called a few minutes later. She contacted you? I let her talk, I said. But I didn't intervene. You didn't? He asked. No. She needed to face reality, not me. You're stronger than I thought, he said. I'm not sure, I admitted. I'm different. Calm, I guess. Detached. That's good, he said. You needed that. You finally let her go. I stared out the window. The city below moved like it always did, indifferent to heartbreak, ambition, or regret. And I realized I didn't feel anger anymore. Only clarity. Later, I ran into Emily, Clara's sister, at a cafe. I heard about your office, she said quietly. Yeah, I said. I suppose karma has a way of catching up. She nodded. Clara ignored warnings. She thought ambition would protect her. And it didn't, I said. Emily hesitated. You're handling this well. I'm handling myself, I corrected. Not her. She smiled faintly. Good. She doesn't deserve your pain. I stopped letting her define it, I said. That night, Clara showed up at my office. I wasn't surprised. I stayed in my chair looking up at her. I made a mistake, she said softly, tears in her eyes. I didn't know what I had. You didn't, I said quietly. I can fix things, she said, voice trembling. I need your help. I shook my head. No, you have to fix yourself. I won't interfere this time. But, no buts, I said firmly. You wanted power over us. Now you face the results. Her shoulders slumped. I thought you'd forgive me. I did, I said. But forgiveness isn't a lifeline. It's letting go. She whispered, I still love you. I didn't answer. I just watched her leave. Marcus called later. She tried one last time? She did, I said. I didn't even feel it anymore. That's progress, he said. That's closure. I stared at my reflection in the office window. Tired but stronger. Angry but controlled. Hurt but free. For the first time I realized I didn't need to fix her. I didn't need to chase her. I didn't even need her. I only needed me. And that was enough. The day the wedding was supposed to happen, I stayed in the office. I didn't check my phone. I didn't look at the invitations. I didn't even look out the window. Nathan called mid-morning. You're not going? No, I said calmly. Not my circus anymore. You sure? Absolutely. I hung up and leaned back in my chair. I pictured Clara in her dress, smiling at the altar, pretending she hadn't postponed everything. Pretending she still wanted me. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I ignored it. Minutes later, Marcus showed up at the office. You're going to regret sitting this one out, he said. I don't think so, I replied. Marcus frowned. You know she's crying somewhere right now. Good for her, I said softly. Maybe she finally feels the weight of her choices. Ethan, he started. No, Ethan, I interrupted. I'm done. The wedding was never about me. It was about her pretending to be what she isn't. He studied me. You're different now. Different and awake, I said. By noon, news came in. Clara had postponed at the last minute again. Guests were furious. Family embarrassed. Victor furious. I smiled faintly. Karma slow but precise. Nathan leaned over my desk. You hearing from her? Nope, I said. I stopped answering weeks ago. That takes strength, he said. I call it clarity, I replied. Late afternoon, Emily, Clara's sister, called. Ethan. She's devastated, Emily said softly. I know, I said. She made her choices. I thought she'd marry you today. Some people need to burn before they learn, I said. She loves you, Emily whispered. Loves the idea of me, I corrected. Not me. And I stopped being her safety net. Emily sighed. You're right. You've grown so much. I smiled faintly. Thanks, Emily. The office was quiet as evening approached. I looked out at the city lights, thinking about what could have been, and realized I didn't miss her. Not really. I remembered the months I cried alone, stayed up late worrying, and replayed every conversation. And now, I had reclaimed myself. Nathan called again. Dinner? I'm in, I said. I'm done mourning ghosts. We met at the rooftop bar. Feels strange, Nathan said. All that build-up and now, nothing. Nothing for her, I said. Everything for me. He raised his glass. To you then. I clinked it against his. To moving forward. The sun set behind the city skyline. My reflection in the glass looked tired but alive. I wasn't angry. I wasn't desperate. I wasn't broken. I whispered to myself, no wedding. No lies. No illusions. Hours later, I walked past the empty venue where the wedding was supposed to be. Flowers still arranged, chairs still set. Guests murmured, disappointed. I didn't feel envy. I didn't feel pain. I only felt free. My phone buzzed one last time that night. Unknown number. Claire. I stared at it, thumb hovering over the screen. Then I deleted it. Silence. I walked to the rooftop, Nathan's words echoing in my head. You survived the fire. Now you're untouchable. And I realized it wasn't just about surviving. It was about reclaiming life. About not letting anyone dictate my worth, my choices, my future. I sat down, looking at the city, breathing in the night air. For the first time in months, I wasn't chasing, I wasn't pleading, I wasn't hoping. I was simply alive. The wedding that never was had taught me more than any ceremony ever could. Some endings are blessings, some heartbreaks are awakenings, and some losses are actually victories in disguise. I smiled faintly. Tomorrow the world would continue spinning and I would continue building. Not for anyone else. Not for Clara. Not for Victor. For me. And that was more than enough. The first time I smiled without guilt in months, it was at my office window. The city stretched below me, lights glittering like promises I hadn't known I'd kept. Nathan appeared at my desk, holding 2 coffees. You look different. I feel different, I said, taking one. Calm. Clear. Awake. He grinned. That's what months of building in silence do. You're finally free. I am, I admitted. And it feels good. Good? He asked. I'd say great. I laughed softly. Great is for the next level. Right now, good is enough. Nathan nodded. So, no thoughts about her? I shrugged. Clara taught me something. Not about love, not about ambition, but about myself. I don't need someone else to validate me. Exactly, he said. You've built more than she ever will, without chasing or pleading. That's power. I sipped my coffee. It's strange. I used to think losing her meant losing everything. Now I see. I never lost me. Nathan raised an eyebrow. Wise words. Later, I met Sophie Lynn at our new headquarters. She walked in, confident as ever, and smiled. Ethan, she said. Ready for today's pitch? I'm ready, I replied. And this time it's different. Clear minds. No distractions. Good, she said. I like clarity. During the meeting, every question, every challenge, every idea flowed naturally. No tension, no hidden agendas. Just pure collaboration. I realized I had matured, not hardened, just refined. Afterward, we walked out together. You've changed, Sophie said softly. I have, I admitted. The past months, they taught me what matters. What's worth my energy? What's worth my time? And Clara? She asked cautiously. I smiled faintly. She's a chapter. Close. Lessons learned. Growth achieved. I don't dwell. She nodded. Good. Because you've got bigger things coming. I looked at her, realizing for the first time I wasn't seeking love, I wasn't seeking approval, I was seeking purpose. And purpose doesn't beg or chase. Purpose builds. Purpose grows. On my way home, Marcus called. Evening reflections? Yeah, I said. It's quiet. Peaceful. Finally, he said. You've earned it. I laughed softly. Not earned. Claimed. Semantics, he teased. Later that night, I sat on the balcony with a glass of whiskey, the cool breeze brushing my face. The city hummed below. My phone stayed silent. No texts, no missed calls, no echoes of the past. I closed my eyes. I'm finally free, I whispered. A month later, our app officially launched. Investors were thrilled, teams were motivated, and I felt the surge of achievement I hadn't felt in years. Nathan came by, grinning. You did it, man. You finally did it. I didn't just do it for them, I said. I did it for me. For the first time, I built something unshaken by betrayal, unshaken by heartbreak. Then what's next? He asked. I looked out at the horizon, the city lights blending with the dark sky. Growth, expansion, self-mastery, and living. He smiled. And love. I shook my head gently. Not yet. Not for anyone else. For now, I love myself, and that's enough. A week later, I visited my parents, Daniel and Ruth Carter. They hugged me tightly. You seem lighter, my mom said. I am, I said. I finally understand who I am, what I want, and I'm not afraid of it anymore. My dad nodded. Proud of you, son. That evening, I walked home alone thinking about the past year, Clara, Victor, the postponed wedding, the heartbreak, the betrayal. Every moment had carved me, reshaped me. I realized the pain wasn't a punishment, was a lesson, a catalyst, a rebirth. Sitting on my balcony later, I raised my glass to the night sky. To new beginnings, I whispered. No regrets, no longing, just freedom. And for the first time, I truly believed in myself. The man who had been broken, betrayed, and humiliated was gone. In his place stood someone stronger, wiser, and untouchable. Someone who no one, no Clara, no Victor, no circumstance could control. Someone finally free.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.